we want to look at how we can compare our dog objects. We'll continue with the program we've already started. So again, I'll make a note to myself here that we're going to compare some dogs. And I'll declare some dogs here with first dog 4. We'll have it as a new dog. We'll use the constructor that takes 5 arguments. I'll have this dog as a Labrador. It will weigh 60.1. It will have 7 toys. Its color, brown. And its ability to read people's minds is true. I'll copy that whole line and also make that dog 5. So dog 4 and dog 5 have equivalent values inside those fields. Then I'll make dog 6 and I'll set it equal to dog 4. Next, I'll create dog 7 with different characteristics from any of those previous dogs. It will be a poodle, weighing in at 18.1 pounds, 18.4 pounds, excuse me, maybe a little hefty. This dog has 5 toys. Its fur color is black, and its ability to read minds is false. We're going to try to compare these dogs with a dot equals method. Every class gets a dot equals method for free, just like we've discovered earlier this semester that every class gets a dot toString method for free. But just as the dot toString method wasn't always handy as it came for free, we needed to write our own, we'll discover the same thing is true with dot equals. Let's see what happens with the default dot equals method that we get with our dog class. So let's compare these dogs using the dot equals method that we get for free from Java. So we're going to compare dog 4 to dog 5. And we'll use an if statement. If it turns out that dog 4 dot equals, we'll use that because these are objects, dog 5, so we're checking out the dot equals method. If it turns out they are equal, well, then we'll display a message that indicates that dog 4 and dog 5 are equivalent. Otherwise, we'll print out a message that shows that they aren't. So this one will say that dog 4 doesn't equal dog 5. I'm going to copy and paste this. Looks like I forgot a semicolon. I'll get to it later because we're going to compare dog 4 to dog 6. So I'll change all these 5s to 6s. And then I'll paste it again to compare dog 4 to dog 7. Maybe after this time I'll remember to add those semicolons. So again, all the 5s are going to change to 7s. And somewhere along the way I better remember to put a semicolon at the end of this statement inside the else. It's a mistake in all of them since I used copy and paste. There we go. And we'll see what happens. Looks like dog 4 and dog 5 ought to be the same, and maybe dog 6 and dog 7 different. However, we are told, as we move past the human years to dog years thing, that dog 4 doesn't equal dog 5, it does equal dog 6, and it doesn't equal dog 7. So you might be surprised to discover that dog 4 doesn't equal dog 5. But the free dot equals method doesn't compare all these values that you see where it looks like dog 4 and dog 5 are the same. It's looking to see if they're pointing to the same object in memory. That's what the dot equals method does for free from Java. It checks to see, are these two identifiers referring to the same dog? And they aren't. They're referring to two different dogs. It just so happens those dogs have the same qualities, but since they aren't the exact same dog in memory, the for free.equals method doesn't help us out. We're going to use one of our own making. And in this, we're going to compare every single field of the dogs. So I'm going to start by declaring a Boolean variable. I'll call it same, and I'll declare it as false. That's the value we're going to return at the end of this method, public Boolean equals. And notice that it's taking a dog as a parameter, so that one dog can compare itself against another dog. I'll assume that they are not equal until we prove that they are equal. So I'll take one of the first attributes or characteristics or fields, its breed, and I'll see if it equals dg, that's what's coming into our parameter, dot get breed. And that would work. It would return the breed of dg, which is our parameter dog. But it turns out we can actually shorten this up. Objects of the same data type can access their common fields. So we can actually directly access dg, our dog parameter, dot breed. Because the dog we have is a dog and we're using it to compare against another dog, we can access all of those fields directly. So dot get breed is okay, but so is also saying dg dot breed. That directly accesses that field or attribute or instance variable, whatever you want to call it. We can compare those because they are the same type of object. They're both dogs. So I'm going to just go with that and directly access those fields. It's a little shorter to write. And I'm going to compare all of them. Notice we're using the double ampersand because they all have to be true. If any one of them is not true, these dogs are not equivalent. The double equals is going to work okay with breed even though it's a string. Be careful when you're checking object properties of these dogs or other objects. You might need to use the dot equals method. Hopefully if it's an object for which you have written the class definition, you gave it a dot equals method. So again, dg is our parameter dog, and I'm just going dot with all the instance variables, all the attributes. Breed, weight, num, toys, fur color, and we'll compare all 5 things and see if all of them are equal to each other. If they are, then I'll take that variable called same and I'll switch it to true, because now the dogs do appear to be equal. Again, I assumed that it would be false. That's why I gave it an initial value of false, waiting to see if we could prove it true later on inside this if. And now we can return that variable same. And it will give an indication if the dogs have equivalent values. True if they do, false if they don't. We're not doing anything involving comparing memory locations. That's what the free.equals method does from Java. So let's see if that impacts the answers we get when we rerun our program. It does. Now dog 4 shows itself to be the same as dog 5. Dog 4 also the same as dog 6. Earlier that was true because they flat out were pointing to the same dog. And dog 4 still does not equal dog 7. A comparison of their fields shows that they are not the same. We'll add some JavaDoc to this method. Its purpose is to determine the equivalency of 2 dogs, specifically another dog compared to this dog. So the parameter dg is a dog object, and it is another dog that we are using to compare to this dog. And we'll return a Boolean value, true if the dogs are equivalent, and false if they are not. When you write classes, you'll almost always want to overwrite the equals method yourself. Every good class should have a good equals method that compares all the fields, just as we learned earlier that we should overwrite the toString method with our own toString method that displays the current state of an object. Once again, every good class should have a .toString method. You'll need to write your own, and a .equals method. You should write your own.